So Dragon Ball Magic has taken the Dragon Ball fandom by storm, and from the little rumors we have, it seems as though both Shin and Goku are going to be the target of some evil force and be turned into children. Now, when I first heard this news, I am a Toriyama lore fanatic. So when I first heard that Goku and Shin were the victims and the main protagonists of this new web anime, I immediately had a very, very strong idea in my mind of who exactly is to blame, why exactly the Kaioshin and Goku are the targets of whoever the villain is in this new Dragon Ball Magic web series. So I wanted to make this video essentially giving my insight on exactly what is the most likely scenario for what is about to play out in Dragon Ball Magic. The first thing I really want you to pay attention to is who exactly is being targeted here. Goku and the Supreme Kai. Why? Why in the world, out of everyone, would Goku and the Supreme Kai be the targets of whoever is going to be the villain, the mage, that transforms Goku and the Supreme Kai into children? Why in the world would they possibly do this? Well, there is only one suspect in my mind because of who Goku is and because of who Shin is, who I think, personally, is responsible for turning Goku back into a child and Shin as well, the Makaioshin. Now, the Makaioshin have been implemented a little bit in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, but we have never, ever seen Akira Toriyama's version of the Makaioshin or the Demon Realm. You have to remember that everything that Toei does, they do with their own spin on things. We've seen this countless times throughout the series, and Toriyama does not care how Toei portrays things. He's going to portray things the way he wants, despite the fact that Toei already has pre-existing content floating around out there. So, in order to understand what Akira Toriyama's version of the Makaioshin actually is, we need to take a minute to read what he said about the Makaioshin in the past. So, one of the things he said about the Makaioshin is that their job is to essentially govern evil, and that they are the antithesis of the Kaioshin. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, you really have to look at the job of the Kaioshin to understand exactly what he's trying to say when he says that the Makaioshin are in charge of governing evil. Now, what exactly is the Supreme Kai's goal? Well, we learned in the Goku Black arc that the Supreme Kai's goal is to essentially bring mortals towards enlightenment. And within the context of Dragon Ball, that is essentially attaining a pure heart like Goku. Within the context of Dragon Ball, having a pure heart like Goku is the end product, the end goal of mortal development. This was also established in the original Dragon Ball via Kami when he said that as long as mortals like Goku exist, he thinks the Dragon Ball should exist. And, you know, Supreme Kai himself looks at Goku as an amazing example of the concept of mortal development. So, if that is what the Kaioshin do, if their job is to develop mortals in that way, what is the job of the Makaioshin? Well, the job of the Makaioshin is to govern and create pure evil beings. And in that sense, the closest thing we have ever seen to a Makaioshin, ironically, is Beerus as an Hakaishin. Now, if you'll notice, the effect that Beerus has on Vegeta's personality, he essentially encourages him to be the type of person he was when he was pure evil. He essentially encourages him to be a destructive force of nature, but not necessarily in the name of evil, but in the name of amorality and the necessity of destruction. That does not mean that the way that Beerus specifically chooses to develop mortals is not reminiscent of what the Makaioshin would do if they themselves were also trying to develop mortals. So what does all this mean? Well, if we look at Goku as a character, and we look at the Supreme Kai, Shin, as a character, those two characters are the biggest danger to the Makaioshin in terms of maintaining the balance of good and evil in the universe. And so if it's the Makaioshin's job to make sure that pure evil or evil beings exist throughout the universe, then the greatest threat to that balance in the universe is the Supreme Kai and Goku. Because the Supreme Kai is essentially helping Goku spread his pure heart, the effect that he has on mortals throughout not only the entire universe, but the entire multiverse. Goku's effect on the universe the purification effect that he has on the hearts of others around him is actually likely starting to upset the balance of good and evil, not only in Universe 7, but possibly the entire multiverse. And so, given the fact that Akira Toriyama has established that that is the job of the Makaioshin, and given the fact that Goku is such a danger to the balance of the universe in that way, and that Shin is responsible for developing the mortals in the exact opposite way as the Makaioshin, it's pretty clear to me the people who have the most motivation to change Goku and Shin into children in order to get them out of the way long enough to do something to bring balance back to the universe are the Makaioshin. Remember, we have never ever seen Akira Toriyama's version of the Makaioshin, and this is the perfect opportunity for him to implement them as well as the Demon Realm. Speaking of the Demon Realm, Akira Toriyama actually made a comment about the Demon Realm, and the comment that he made is, the Demon Realm is located in the universe, but its scale is very small, the size of a hideout for mages. The mages live in the Demon Realm like evil goblins. So that just goes to show you that Akira Toriyama's understanding of what the Makaioshin actually are is completely different than any of the Makaioshin that we have been shown outside of Akira Toriyama's influence. So it is very, very, very likely that the plot of the web anime coming up is that Shin and Goku are going to be turned into children by a demon, specifically a Makaioshin, in order for the Makaioshin to make some sort of attempt to restore balance to the universe via making more evil beings, essentially creating more beings that have evil in their heart throughout the universe. Now, this could serve the series in a lot of different ways, because it could serve to create more threats throughout not only Universe 7, but the multiverse and, you know, the hierarchy of the gods. I mean, any lore expansion I'm completely down for, but based on everything that I've heard about the web anime, this seems to me to be probably the most logical conclusion when it comes to what exactly the plot's about, how everything is going to unfold, because Akira Toriyama has spoken about the Makaioshin as a concept himself. Despite the fact that he has never implemented the Makaioshin in Dragon Ball, he has spoken of them. They are a concept that he himself came up with. He came up with the concept of the Makaioshin. So it's very, very likely that he ends up trying to use them at some point, and I think that this is the perfect opportunity to implement them because they've never been implemented before. And if they're mages and they're capable of doing magic, the most natural conclusion is that whoever used magic, whatever demon used magic to turn Goku and Shin into children, it's very, very likely, based again on the fact that Shin is a Supreme Kai, Goku is essentially the epitome of mortal development who spreads his pure art throughout the universe. It is very, very, very likely that this is going to be the plot for Dragon Ball Magic. Anybody who has like any sort of understanding of like Toriyama's lore and the things that he spoke of outside of the series itself could see that this is very, very, very likely. If you just kind of sort of connect the dots and just sort of think about what Akira Toriyama has said in the past about the Makaioshin, and the fact that Shin and Goku are the targets, they are the main characters, they are the main focus of Dragon Ball Magic based on what we know, it's pretty clear and very, very likely that the most likely suspect to turn Goku and Shin into children in order to do something to get them out of the way long enough for them to just do whatever, you know, they need to in order to implement their plans, the Makaioshin are the number one most likely suspects. Everything about what I've heard, rumor-wise, about the Dragon Ball Magic web anime, everything that I've heard sort of just like feeds into the notion that that is exactly what's going on. Like, I really do think that it's very, very likely that this will be the entire narrative and idea surrounding the new Dragon Ball Magic web anime. I mean, the web anime itself is called Dragon Ball Magic, and the Makaioshin, again, are mages. They're literally mages. So it's right there in the title, Dragon Ball Magic, mages. It's right there in the title. So just, I don't know for a fact that that is what Akira Toriyama is thinking, or that's what he's going to end up implementing into the web anime, but I have a very, very strong suspicion that this is exactly how things are going to play out. We'll see. I'm really excited about it. The web anime also seems to have very strong Journey to the West vibes based on what I've heard so far. I'll talk about that in a later video. But yeah, I am ridiculously excited for the web anime. I just sort of wanted to give my theory on what likely is going on in terms of, Goku and Shin being turned into children, the likely suspect for that. I just wanted to make sense of it all so you could sort of just take this video and use it as a guide for what might possibly be coming in the Dragon Ball web anime. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.